So cover letters, okay? Let me make sure that's turned on. Yes. All right. Cover letters. I can remember when I was in college, you hear about resumes, you got to have one when you interview for a job and when you're applying for a job. But cover letters are something that was new to me when I was in college. Anybody in here have any experience? Who in here has ever applied for a job, first off? We got a couple. Did you have to write a cover letter?
No.
With your resume?
I start Monday.
Okay. So, a cover letter is going to be a little bit more professional. To me, I think it makes you look like you pay attention to detail a little bit more. Okay. It's written to a potential employer and it accompanies a resume. It goes in front of the resume. Okay. And it's basically your first impression on employers. It provides a brief summary of what can be contributed to the potential employer, and it allows the interviewer to see a glimpse of your written communication skills. Okay, so a resume really doesn't do a good job of showing your written communication skills because it's basically just a snapshot of, hey, here's my experience, here's my accolades, here's my skills. It's kind of a very short, condensed version. A cover letter is more of a paragraph, a little summary, talking about yourself, and you always want it to be specific to what job you're trying to get. Okay? So here's an example. If you can see that, if not, you can look at it on your computer. Okay? But it can have the same heading as a resume. Alright? And you're going to want to have your address, phone number, email, all that. Then you want to direct this cover letter to a certain individual. So, for example, if you're applying at Cordova High School, who would you probably need to address it to? Miss Brown. Okay? So, at Miss Brown, principal, Cordova High School, you could put the address to the school, phone number if available, and then it's basically like you are writing her a letter. Okay? I'm very interested in the financial analyst opportunity. As a financial analyst with a BS, which is a bachelor's degree in finance, and 5 years of diverse industry experience, I excel at managing complex FP&A initiatives for publicly held companies and global multi-million-dollar operations. Okay? So it's basically just talking about yourself and how you would fit well into the job that you're seeking. Okay? Alright? There it talks about always putting the date, prospective employer's name and address, and 3 to 5 paragraphs. Okay? The first paragraph, that's explaining the reason you are writing it and for the position that you're applying for. And you want to draw the employer's interest by praising the company. Okay? You don't want to say, I'm applying for the manager position at Walmart because I can't find anywhere else to work. Or I'm applying for the cook position at McDonald's because I didn't get hired by Burger King. Okay, whatever it may be, you want to make sure you're talking good about the company. I want to work for Walmart because it is a huge retailer, and I feel like I can gain a ton of experience working here. Okay, mentioning a mutual contact if there is one. Okay, a lot of times when people apply for jobs, maybe you have a friend who's working at a company. Hey, we have this position open. All right, well, I want to apply for it. Go ahead and mention so-and-so, your whatever position they have. Let me know that there is a job available that I'm interested in. Okay? And referencing the placement of the job posting. All right? There's an example of it. The middle paragraphs indicate how you can meet an employer's particular needs. All right, that's basically where you're basically hyping yourself up. Okay, I can do all of these things, and it fits this position based on what I can do. All right, and what they're looking for. You're basically trying to mend that fit between you and what they're wanting. Okay, and then the closing paragraph requests an interview at the employer's convenience. Informs the employer you will call for his or her reaction to the resume, and refers the employer to the enclosed resume that is behind it. Okay? Alright, now, the big one, resumes. okay? Now, being in high school, I think it would be great if you go ahead and create a resume. Save it and actually take it serious, alright? I've had one, I did some in college, but I didn't really take it serious until I graduated college, okay? And ever since then, which was in 2015, I probably update my resume once a year, okay? Sometimes more than that. I've changed the way it looks, I've changed the format of it. Obviously, you add experience in there, you add skills when you get them, okay? And if you guys take BTA with me, and we credential in Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel, whatever it may be, that's things you can add on your resume. It's still on mine. It's one of the main things is I'm a Microsoft Office specialist. I have certifications in every program that Microsoft Office offers, okay? And anything you do like FFA, fax, any of those credentials, you can put on your resume, all right? Then you're also going to put your grade point average. As a student, that would probably be one of the first things you would do. If you know your class rank, you would put that on there as well, okay? But it's basically a synopsis of personal information, education, skills, work experience, and activities. All right. The main goal of a resume is to catch an employer's attention, okay? Or some of you guys will be applying for scholarships in the next few years, okay? In a resume, you'll have to attach. Most of the time, people, I don't know if it's changed, but it used to be kind of the standard was your resume would be looked at for about 15 seconds. Okay? That's why it really needs to be kind of short, compact, detailed, and about one page, because they're not going to flip to another page most of the time. All right? You want to catch their attention within those 15 to 20 seconds. All right? The three ways that it can be arranged: chronological, okay, targeted, function-oriented. Okay? Chronological would basically mean when I graduated college, I would put every job that I've had since I graduated college. Okay? Targeted would be, so when I graduated college, I worked in healthcare, but if I'm applying for a teacher position, do they really care that I've worked in healthcare? Probably not. So targeted, I would go ahead and put all of the teaching jobs that I've had. Function-oriented, that is basically very similar to targeted, but if you want to be a welder, you would probably want to put, and maybe you don't have any welding experience, you've just gotten all of the certifications and passed all the tests you need, you could talk, a function-oriented job would be something that was similar, okay, in the same industry. Okay? Here's some of the examples of chronological resumes. Okay, talking about a stable work history, show jobs in a sequential order. Okay, we just talked about these. All right, parts of a resume. Contact information, that always is going to go first. Your objective, okay, your objective is always going to center around why you are trying to get that job. So, if Cade is applying for 6 different jobs, he should have 6 different objectives on those resumes. And you'll be surprised, some people will just send in, hey, I've already made my resume, and they'll send it to different jobs, but the objective always needs to change, right? Okay? You don't need to have just one objective that you always use. You want to make it specific to what job you're trying to get. Okay? Then you'll talk about your education, your work experience, community involvement or volunteer activities, and then last is going to be references. Okay? A couple things I want to talk about with education. I can remember my college professor told me, if you don't have above a 3.0 GPA, don't even put your GPA on there. Okay? Don't put it on there, and only give it to them if they ask. Alright? That's why grades are important. We've had this talk already this semester. Most of you are 9th graders, and your kind of clock has started. Alright? about references here. If you can, you want to make it relatable to basically the career you're in. Alright? So, before I got into teaching and coaching, my references may be if I had a friend or knew somebody that I worked with that was a CFO of a company or was in business, alright, I would try to make them my references. Now I try to get coaches, teachers, principals. Those are the references I try to get. I also, here's a big one, okay? Anybody that you put as a reference, one, make sure that they have what? What would you think that would need to happen if you were making somebody a reference? Anybody got any idea? Well, you would put their phone number, but as far as if you were having to choose somebody, what would be something that you would want them to have or do?
A job.
A job is a good one, okay? Where I'm wanting to go with it is, don't put somebody that has a positive view of you. Okay, does that make sense? Alright. I'll use this as an example. Let's say you work for a company, maybe you didn't do a great job, maybe you and the boss didn't really get along, you ended up quitting. Would you want to put them as a reference? Because they probably don't have what? Good things to say about you. Okay? Another thing with references is always call somebody and tell them, hey, can I put you down as a reference on my resume? Alright? That way they'll be expecting a phone call. Okay? There's been 3 or 4 different times I've been a reference for someone and didn't know. Yes, Liz?
What if it's your first job?
If it's your first job, I would put like a family friend, a teacher, a principal, coaches, anything like that. For if I was making my first resume, you don't have a lot of those connections. Teachers, coaches, family friends. I would try to not make it a family member, okay? Because obviously, you know, mom and dad's going to have a great reference for you, okay? But they want to hear from somebody other than your family. But there's been 3 or 4 times I've, you know,